This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by Opsgenie by Atlassian. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Visit Opsgenie.com for your free account. And by Smile, the makers of world-class software like PDFpen for Mac, PDFpenPro for Mac, PDFpen for iPhone and iPad, PDFpen Scan Plus for iPhone and iPad, TextExpander for Mac, and TextExpander for iPhone and iPad. Learn more about all their great products at smilesoftware.com. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is gift guide number 6. As you know, we started out doing these a few years ago with just one gift guide, maybe 2, and it turned into such a fun thing because there were so many people that wanted to come on, so many people I wanted to have on, that it just sort of turned into a holiday party with friends. That we talk about the inevitable tech. So here we go. A couple notes for you. You don't need to make notes as you're listening because the show notes of this episode will have everything we pick. You will also find a complete list from all our gift guide shows at macvoices.blog. And if you like something a little more visual where you can see the products, I'm also maintaining a Flipboard magazine, the MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide 2018 Flipboard magazine, where you can see both visuals and have links to everything. So there'll be links in the show notes there as well. So with that, who do we have for number 6? Looking very festive, as she always does, Ms. Jackie Dove. Jackie, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Me. Yes, I love the hat, Jackie. I love the hat.
It's my traditional Mac Voices Holiday Gift Guide hat.
Well, and you in red sweater too. I mean, I feel kind of drab tonight. You're all festive, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And back with us again, Mr. Charles Edge. Charles, you too are in red. I love it.
I am, but mine is University of Georgia red. So
okay,
not festive. Although I do have festive socks. So there.
That may be the first foot shot on Mac Voices ever, Charles. I'm not
this
sure.
Should not be the last.
Oh, good.
Wait till we get to the gift guide.
Yeah. This is going to be a good one, folks. I can tell. I can tell.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Mm-hmm. So, Jackie, let's start with round 1, and we'll give you the very first pick of gift guide number 6.
Okay. I've been doing some smartwatches this year, and basically, I thought the Amazfit Bip, and don't say that 3 times fast. It's called the Amazfit Bip. And it's a smartwatch that looks deceptively like an Apple Watch. It's got the plasticky sort of matte strap and the square face. And I'm sorry I don't have it with me. I wish I could show it to you, but I had to send it back because I was not allowed to keep that. But I did review it for Tom's Guide. And basically, it's got an incredible amount of functionality for something that's under $100. So you're walking around with one of these watches that looks like an Apple Watch, really not even from afar, but it weighs an ounce. It has a heart rate monitor that you can keep on. It has the accelerator. It has the GPS monitor. You can take calls and messages and texts and emails and all of that stuff. It operates entirely via Bluetooth. It's very, very comfortable. And it's a fitness app. It's got a pedometer and it records everything to its own app so that you can go ahead and, monitor your fitness over time and how you've made progress and that kind of thing. And I thought it was a really, really neat thing. And it's got a humongously long battery life, which is something that has been a difficulty for people with smartwatches. So I would absolutely recommend that. It is very reasonably priced. It covers mostly all bases. It doesn't have a super high resolution face, which is unlike the Apple Watch. So once you get up close, you're not going to be fooled. But, it's a quarter of the price of an Apple Watch. And so if you want all of that functionality and you want the long battery life, under $100 right now, I think it's selling for like $69, something like that. So, that's something that I think people might be very interested in.
So you did say Fit BIP, BIP?
Yeah, it's Amazfit, which is the name of the company, and the model of the watch is called BIP, BIP. Please don't ask me why they do that, but they do. And it's actually a watch that originates and is made in China, so that might be part of it. And they've gotten an incredible amount of mileage out of this thing. People seem to really like it.
Very nice, yeah.
And it comes in 4 different colors, so there is a variety to it. But I think a lot of people just look at, especially the black one, and go, "Oh, wow, you got an Apple Watch." I was like, well, not exactly.
A shelf Apple Watch.
Yes. The ersatz Apple Watch. But it's got a lot of functionality for its price.
Great.
So I have a kid who wanted a smart device last year, and or a smartwatch last year, and that sounds like a great way to get her that, but without her losing it because she's 10 and she loses everything. Or at least if she loses it, it's not like the end of the world. That's a great idea.
Yeah, no, it is actually really good for adults who aren't really sure whether they want a smartwatch, aren't sure if they're going to really use it, want to try out something that's a little bit on, the less on the pricey scale. And it's also great for kids. And it fits small wrists. I have a really diminutive wrist, and it fits beautifully. It is so comfortable. She won't want to take it on or off all the time. She'll just leave it on because it's very, very comfortable and you don't even know it's there. So it's not, with me, when I lose watches, it's usually because the wrist is getting tight and it's starting to dig into my wrist or something, and the band isn't comfortable and I wind up taking it off. That won't happen. So yeah, I absolutely recommend it for kids.
Good pick. Thank you. Yeah. Charles, since we already saw your foot, I'm not sure what we're going to see next, but what's your first pick for round one?
My first pick is the Lego Boost Creative Toolbox. So it's a robot that kids can program, and you can shape it in a number of different ways. It can be like a kind of humanoidish robot, or a animal like a cat, or you can make it into a guitar that actually plays, cars, or you can even have it build little cars of its own. And they program it using standard programming languages, and it's, in my mind at least, a great introduction to STEM for the 3rd to 8th grade kind of crowd.
Charles, I hear about these robots, the Lego robots, and it really intrigues me. I mean, I think I would have loved something like that at that age, and probably even a little older, because now it seems like the kids are maturing and getting so much more technical at such an early age.
Yeah, they're not going to compete with this kind of robot, I don't think. They're not going to try to bash other robots, although it's Lego, so if they did, they'd just put the Legos back together again rather than have to reapply circuit boards and stuff like that. But I very much, if I'd have had one of these when I was a kid, we'd have positronic brains by now, I hope. So hopefully, getting your children and grandchildren one will help to bring positronic brains about, so that we don't have to work when we get older.
If there's anybody that could have brought us a positronic brain, it's you, Charles. No question.
I take it your daughter likes this?
I don't know yet.
I don't know.
I just went through the things I've already bought. That's how I built my list.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So you'll be back after Christmas to tell us how it went.
Yeah, if you want.
We might do a follow-up show. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
If Charles shows
definitely.
up with a black eye and a bandage around the head, you'll know it didn't go well.
Yeah. Then we know she put boxing gloves on the robot.
Yeah. Yeah. And this does not, to be clear, this does not come with a flamethrower or anything like that. So,
I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not into trying.
I knew this was going to be good. Nice first pick. We really haven't had anything that kid-oriented, but I like it. Kid and tech. Cool. Well, my first pick, I'm kind of surprised nobody has picked this yet. I've unfortunately, I don't have as much time as I would like to just do leisurely reading, relaxing reading. And so I've always been an audiobook fan, but I've really paid a lot more attention to audiobooks recently. And I'm squeezing in more time to read audibly, if I don't know what the proper term is, but to listen, I guess, to audiobooks. It's amazing how much time during the day and doing household chores and everything that you are wasting. And when you could be really enjoying something that takes your mind off of some of that. So I'm going to recommend a subscription to Audible. What I really love about it is for a very reasonable price each month, you get one book from Audible. You can purchase more if you're really that much into it. But these, especially the unabridged versions, I mean, they're like lots of hours long, like 14, 15, 16 hours long. Now, I admit I cheat because I do listen to it at 1.25 to 2 times speed because I'm always trying to make up for something. But at the end of the day, I'm finding that I'm able to listen to, things that I really like. Okay, I'd love to listen to that sometime or read it sometime, but I just never seem to get around to it. And now, I find it actually relaxing. I still absolutely keep up with all of my podcasts, but this just adds things another level to it. So if your loved one likes to read or would like to read, or maybe if you want to just get a little more out of your time and pay attention to some things that you just haven't been able to, get an Audible subscription. The app is great. The iOS app is great. You can listen to dozens of different ways. If you have a Kindle, the right kind of Kindle, you can listen there too. But of course, I obviously prefer the iOS app, and the AirPods that I'm sporting now make the perfect thing to walk around the house and listen to something while I'm actually doing other work. So,
and as a longtime subscriber to Audible, I listen to books on the way to and from work every day, and unless I need a little Led Zeppelin to break up the monotony of the day. But I truly love my Amazon subscription. And my last book, one of the things that I'm trying to find time to do is read it for Audible. So I've always loved Audible since before Amazon bought them.
yeah, it's one of those things that you sample it and you kind of go back and forth. And if you pay just a little attention, now my big thing is I've got so many books kind of in my queue that, all right, I really want to get to all these, and I will eventually. But it's surprising, just like you said, just if you just listen on the way to and from work, you can get through a book, in what seems to be a pretty darn quick period of time, and a book that you would never have probably gotten to otherwise. So, yeah.
Do you?
Okay.
So
Jackie.
somebody is actually reading that book to you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Somebody's doing the reading out. I am somebody who does not have one of these subscriptions. And so I'm kind of interested in when you listen to a book being read, is the author reading it or is it the reader reading it?
Sometimes it's the author, as Charles said, he's hoping to be able to read his. Sometimes it's a professional narrator. And I can't say that I do this, but I know of people that will listen to books because of the narrator, not because of the book, because they really enjoy that. I tend to go more with the subject and not worry about the narrator. But I have to say, everybody I've heard on Audible, and really any audiobook, I haven't heard any that are just junk. They all are very articulate, and you have no trouble understanding them. Some of them are a little more emotive than others, but you still get that sense that you are having somebody read you a story.
I was really hoping for the original author to read some of the Shakespeare stuff, but that didn't happen. Still pretty upset about that.
Yeah. Charles' next pick will be a time machine.
Built out of Legos.
Built out of Legos.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really interesting concept, and I guess I've resisted it all of this time because of I would find that somebody reading something to me gives an interpretation to it, maybe that when you're reading it yourself, you have your own, you're putting your own mind to it versus having somebody interpret the words for you as you're listening to it. And maybe that kind of doesn't even make sense. I don't know.
Some of the voices in fiction definitely, as Chuck mentioned, being emotive, definitely lend themselves to a whole different interpretation than I might have had. Certainly different pronunciations of names in fiction, that's for sure.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that is a really interesting pick and something that kind of maybe opens up my mind a little bit too. To
yeah, and Jackie, I guess one of my big points here is that you're absolutely right. Sometimes I'm sure it covers, as opposed to if I was actually just reading it. But on the other hand, the odds are pretty good that I would never get around to reading it. So it's not like I'm doing a comparison. It's being delivered as is, and that's the way I take it. So
well, and it's also something like if the book is kind of dense and complicated. I'm reading something that is very slow going right now, and I'm wondering, whether it might be actually an easier read to have it actually narrated to me. That's definitely. I don't even know if it's in an audiobook form, but something that maybe people are struggling with.
It's probably different for everyone, but I would actually prefer to read something dense on paper as opposed to listen to it. That way I can go back, flip back a few pages pretty easily and say, wait, what did I miss there? Especially books about business or accounting. Don't ask me why I was reading books about accounting in the past couple of years.
I won't ask.
Legal topics for sure. For me, audiobooks are very much for fiction, if that makes sense.
Got it.
But to be fair, you also have, I think it's a 30-second rewind button or whatever. Not sure. Maybe you can even set it so that if you do miss something, if you get distracted, you can easily go back. It's not like you have to try to specifically drag the little thing back to hit just where you want. You can just hit that a couple times and you're back up 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. So
now we should really write some small shell scripts so that the Zarvox voice can read those, any old book. And then there's no emotion. It's just Zarvox.
Well, that's an interesting point. I don't think you can do it with an ebook, but if there are plenty of books in the public domain and you can have the Mac voices, sorry, the Macintosh voices.
No pun intended.
Yeah, not at all. No, I really didn't. But no, you can have the Macintosh voices read it to it. And Jackie, that's where I think you start to appreciate the fact that the narrators are just a little emotive, because otherwise it comes off. You can listen to it and it's fine, but it's just very flat.
Other thing. Go ahead, Jackie.
No, I think that is a really interesting concept, and I guess I haven't considered it before. I just never wanted to do anything except read it, But maybe there are things that you're missing that you would get to if you could hear it narrated to you. So yeah, that's a really interesting point, and I definitely will try that.
Good. My work is done. All right. So Jackie, take us into round 2.
All right, round 2. We did a lot with kids, but did we do anything with dogs and cats? No, we have not. And so for your pet, we have PetQ Bites. PetQ Bites. So when your lonely dog or cat is all by themselves all day long while you are having a great time at the office, you can tap into your home and see that your pet is okay, and your pet can hear your voice, and you can even fling treats to your pet. You can load this thing up with 2 pounds of kibble, or it doesn't have to be a particular brand, but it just has to be small enough to get through the chute. And so you load it up with kibble, and you can talk to your pet. They can hear your voice. Mostly this works with dogs. My cat didn't really seem too impressed with it.
Cats are never impressed with anything, though, to be fair. And if they are, then they're not really a cat. They're like a dog cat.
But usually about the wrong things. But she didn't really respond to it, but the neighbor dogs loved it. So what it does is you can perch it on your table. It's very stylish looking. It comes in different color combinations and aluminum and black, and it fits nicely in your decor. You don't have to worry about it being ugly or anything in your living room or in your den or wherever you want to put it. And you set this thing up, and it works with an app, and you can train the camera on to where your pet will be as your voice comes through, and your dog will come over to, the vicinity, and you'll talk to your dog. You can hear your voice, and you can watch your dog. Your dog cannot see you, though. There are products where the dog can actually see you, but not this one. And you can fling treats, and so they know when they hear your voice, they might get a treat also. So it's kind of nice. You can time it. You can do it anytime you want. You can take videos of it. You can post videos of it. They'll save the video to the cloud, and you can share video on your social media. You can have other people sign into your account and also talk to your dog and play with your dog. So other family members can do this too, or friends, babysitters, people who they know, people whose voices they know. So it's kind of cool, and it's nice to know that you can check in on your pet when you're not at home for 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12 hours.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm just imagining if I can shoot them way up in the air. I have a border collie, and he likes to jump and catch.
Does it shoot up way up into the air? Let me put it this way. It flings up to about 6 feet. And you can measure the distance.
Nice.
But don't know if it actually soars up and goes down first. It depends on where it's situated in your house. So if it's on a high table, it'll have that effect.
Love it.
Gravity being what it is.
I think my dog just asked for one for Christmas.
Yeah. So maybe put it up on top of your refrigerator or something and let it fire from a height.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said put it up on a refrigerator and let it fire out from a height so that the dog has to jump to try to catch it.
Well, and that's something, they don't exactly recommend that technique, but they do think it's a good exercise thing, especially if you're flinging it close by and the doggy has to move in order to get it.
Okay. Yep, that's interesting. I'm not an animal person. I don't have pets, so I can't really get too excited about that. But that's.
I have a dog and a cat, and right now I'm just picturing in my head them chasing each other, and me being like, "No, stop chasing!" and throwing a treat, and then being reminded 6 months later that I'm training them to chase each other. So, yeah, I never said I was smart.
Okay. Good pick. Charles, round 2.
So smart sockets. It's that, I guess I'm the automation person, right? So I prefer the Wemo smart plugs if I'm going to do anything, but the ability to wake up and say, Hey Alexa or Hey Siri or Hey Google, and have them make my coffee in the morning while I'm still in bed is quite possibly my favorite thing in the whole wide world, other than my kid and my dog, and maybe the cat.
So obviously, as a plug, it can plug pretty much into anything. And my primary use of smart devices right now are for lights. But you point out the coffee maker. What else do you plug into these things, Charles?
Everything in my house is, including the route, the bridges that run the devices. That way, if they go unrecognizable, I can just reboot those remotely. But the Christmas tree, hey Alexa, turn off the Christmas tree. Done. The Christmas tree, the coffee pot I mentioned, pretty much everything in the house at this point I think is automated. This is my third automated home, so it's been I've watched that industry grow from the Crestron days into the now $20 to $40 a socket to automate anything in the house. And the outdoor lights are automated as well. So if I want to turn on or off those, I can also time them, which I prefer to do that way. If I forget to tell her to turn them off, she does. And then personally, I use a hub in front of everything. So that way I have all three systems running in my house: Siri, Alexa, and Google. And so I can tell any of them from any place to go ahead and turn things on and off, and it all just kind of happens.
I don't want to take us off track, but that's a really interesting comment that you have all three of them. Do you prefer one over the other, or do you find one more reliable than the other since you're running all three?
If you're ever worried about trying to get Apple as a sponsor, I'm not going to answer that question. Although there's a counterpoint to mine. I prefer the Amazon stack of automation solutions, I guess you might call it, simply because it's plug-inable, it's extensible. I've written scripts that live up on Amazon that do various things, and other automations. But a friend of mine recently said that he prefers the Siri stuff because it's more secure and he trusts Apple with having a device listening in his home in ways that he doesn't trust Amazon or Google to have a device listening in his home. And I accept that argument completely. It is definitely a much more limited platform, but at the same time, as with everything else that Apple does, it's very easy to set things up, and you can trust Apple not to unlock a phone even if the FBI calls, or unlock your audio tracks that they might be storing to do machine learning of your voice in the cloud. So,
yeah, I kind of agree with that philosophy. I have some Alexa devices. I have some Siri devices, obviously, and can't quite get to the Google point. Just can't quite get there yet.
Their platform, I don't think, is as mature as the Alexa platform anyways yet. I do like their video device. I have an Amazon Show, and I also have the Google one, and it's like a Galaxy 5 with a speaker attached to it. So if you like the Amazon platform, then I think you would just like that type of device. And if everything you have is in one of those platforms, then it makes sense to have your home automated in the other, I guess.
Right. Okay, good.
Just one quick question about that. What was the motivation behind using all of those three services as opposed to just choosing one? Is it because some do things better than the other, or?
Nah, I'm just a big nerd.
Okay, got it. That'll work.
Yeah. Aren't we all? Okay, let's see. I got to go over my list. So for my round two, I'm going to go the subscription route once again. Um, as we record this, Amazon and Apple have just announced that Apple Music will now be available through the Echo devices, and so it remains to be seen exactly how this is going to work. But at the end of the day, it certainly expands the Apple Music universe. So I'm going to recommend a subscription to Apple Music because you will have the ability to use the best of Apple Music, which in my opinion is the HomePod. But if you have Alexa devices or additional devices that are Amazon Alexa devices, you'll be able to use those too. And this may or may not solve, and I say may or may not just because we don't know everything yet. We've just had the announcement, but it may solve the problem of hoping that Apple would manufacture a cheaper HomePod. Because you can, with most of the Echo devices, if you need to, if you're not happy with the speaker itself in that device, you can plug an external speaker into it and have it sound better, certainly. So, and Apple Music still, at some point, there's always the jousting back and forth about who has the most tracks in anything. Well, it really doesn't matter to me as long as they have the tracks I want to listen to. And even if they don't have every single track I want to listen to, they've got enough to keep me going for a while. Several tens and tens of thousands of tracks, I can find something to listen to. And if you stop and think about it, a lot of us have, depending on your age, a lot of us have resisted subscription music services. But if you buy any kind of music, if you buy a CD a month, that's paying for it right there, and you have access to so much more. Yes, it goes away if you stop subscribing, but at the end of the day, still, then just wait around, keep a list of what you like, and go and buy them at a used CD store, if any of those continue to exist. So Apple Music, I still think is a really great value for the music lover if you use it. Today's edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by Opsgenie by Atlassian. Uptime is good, downtime is bad, and there are going to be incidents. That's just how it works. So how do you reduce downtime for your customers? Opsgenie by Atlassian is how. Opsgenie helps you and your team get alerts immediately when something goes wrong. But it's a huge waste of time and effort for everyone to get those alerts, especially if they happen to be on a holiday or at 3 a.m. That's why Opsgenie allows for deep flexibility in how and when alerts are deployed, with a smart combination of scheduling and escalation paths. The right people get notified at the right time, and everyone else gets their beauty sleep. But you already have all sorts of apps that do all sorts of things for you. That's why Opsgenie supports over 200 integrations with apps like Jira, Amazon CloudWatch, Datadog, New Relic, and more, so that implementing it in your workflow is simple. I told you about how I felt when a website I was trying to access was down for 30 minutes. How do you feel when that happens to you? Now, imagine how your customers feel. That's a feeling you don't want them to have, right? That's why you need to visit Opsgenie at opsgenie.com right now and sign up for a free account. No, not a trial account, a free account. Then add up to 5 members of your team, also for free, and find out what Opsgenie can do for you. Opsgenie from Atlassian. Your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Thanks to Opsgenie for supporting this edition of Mac Voices. Do you, either one of you, are you Apple Music people, or do you go with one of the other platforms, Spotify or any of the others?
I think I pay for 3 platforms. I pay for Amazon, both through Amazon Prime and the Amazon Music that plays through the Echo, and then the Amazon, and then Spotify. So I should probably cancel 2 of those.
You just being a big nerd again?
Yeah. I mean, I was an early Spotify adopter. I did recently import all of my playlists into Apple Music from Spotify, so I don't really need it anymore. But
yeah, well, maybe that just saved you some money per month.
Yeah. This could probably save me. I think Amazon Music for the little streaming service for Echoes it's only like $5 a month, and it's separate from Prime. So yeah.
Jackie,
how about you? Music subscriber, or don't you have time to listen?
No, not really. Not a big music subscriber at all. I guess I'm not relaxed enough to sit around listening to music. I do have Pandora, and I really like it. I do not subscribe to it. I suffer through the commercials. And I have some music that I bought and is, in my iTunes, like the old-fashioned way. And I just haven't myself gotten into subscribing because I find that I don't listen enough to it to justify paying for it.
Yeah, fair enough. There is no right answer. There are plenty of people that can't justify it because they don't listen to music enough, and they have a few key things they want to listen to. And
right, exactly.
As you said, Pandora is a very nice option that you have to deal with commercials, but it's still light years better than terrestrial radio. So,
oh yeah, I mean terrestrial radio is just ridiculous. If you want to put it on in the car, it's silence is better. Just put it that way.
With the exception of NPR.
Yes, would agree with that. Wait,
don't tell me is my spirit animal.
No. No, I totally agree. But sometimes silence is even better than that. Sometimes I just don't even want to upset myself.
Now, speaking of these things, have you seen Echo Auto?
I have not.
It's an Echo for your car, which I'm not at all sold on, but I did order.
Of course you did.
Well, so, yeah, you know what? I take that back. I think I did see it. I just didn't pay attention to it because I've already got CarPlay. So this gives you all the Echo commands in the car?
Yeah, it just connects to ALEXA through your phone as opposed to so you can listen to, Sirius or Apple Music or Spotify or Pandora or what have you with voice commands while you're driving. You just mount it on your dash and it plugs into your USB.
Interesting.
Great.
Like I said, I'm not sold on it, but I did buy one. They're cheap. I think they're only like $25 or something.
Okay,
that's not my third choice for gifts.
No. Put that on the list of things to talk about after Christmas when you've had a chance to play with it.
Right.
Okay, so we're halfway through. So you better be looking at your lists and figuring out if you need to prune down or what. Jackie, I'm looking at mine, trying to think, okay, what am I going to do next? Jackie, round 3.
I have this. It's called the Fujifilm Instax Mini 9. 'Tis a instant camera.
My daughter has one of those. Oh my God, she loves it.
It is actually great for kids, but it's also, it takes a different kind of photograph. First of all, you have to buy paper for it. The paper goes into this little back thing here, and you just buy cartridges that you stick in here, and then it goes there, and it makes a little whirring sound, and you're ready to shoot, and you just it does its own exposure. It does pretty much everything. It just comes on. It figures out what the light is. It gives you the right exposure, and you shoot. And that is all. PhD. And the output is really interesting looking. It's not like a digital camera at all. And I don't think it's like anything we've ever really actually seen before. It's supposed to be sort of old-timey camera, from your Brownie days, if you remember that kind of thing. I actually don't remember a camera even looking like that. This is, I think, a unique product. It takes a different picture. Don't expect it to look like anything that you've seen before. And I think the challenge of this camera is only distance. I had some issues actually trying to get the right distance for this thing to work properly, because that is kind of the whole thing behind the focus. It does come with a close-up lens that you can use. And again, you have to measure your distance properly. And once you get that down, I tested 9 of these cameras and I decided to present this one. And the issue with, working with 9 cameras is that they all have like different optimal focal lengths. And so once you get used to using one camera, then you know pretty much exactly and instinctively how far away you need to be in order for the picture to come out right. Kids love this thing. They take pictures of their friends and it's just right there. They can hand photos around to their friends. They can pass photos between each other. It's right there. It's on paper. People just love that stuff. I have pictures in my wallet that I took of, with this camera, and it's like, it's just a different thing. You don't have to worry about printing it. It's right there, and it's little. The Instax Mini, the pictures are really small, so they fit in a wallet. So I have a really nice one of my husband and my cat together, and it's my favorite picture.
It's nice that your husband got some building there. Jackie, I'm not sure. I guess the phrase would be, what's the texture of the output? Is it a matte finish or is it a glossy finish? Or
it's a glossy finish.
It is a glossy finish. Okay.
Yeah. It's like your old-timey picture.
Like the old Polaroid.
It's really, like a Polaroid. And I mean, there are other variations of this kind of camera that will shoot square, that will shoot enlarged. There's a Fujifilm Instax that takes huge photographs with bigger paper. You're limited when you buy something like this to the size, and so you have to decide what size picture you want. And then they've got all of these accessories that go with it. You can buy it special photo albums that only hold those photos, and you can kind of make an industry of it if you want to. So it's nice for hobbyists, and it's nice for kids who want to go around and sort of be the life of the party.
And it's endorsed by Charles's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the other thing is, I don't know what color your daughter has.
Blue, the light blue one.
They've got like 9 colors. So
my daughter won't touch pink. Nothing pink. She just won't.
No, this is not pink. This is flamingo.
Oh, right. My bad.
Okay. This is flamingo. And when Fujifilm asked me what color I wanted, I said, "Oh, I don't care. Just get it to me quickly." And then I said, "Wait a minute, flamingo. I just want to see what flamingo looks like." And they said, "Hey, you got it." So yeah,
you just wanted to write flamingo in your review. That's what you wanted to do.
I did. Well, yeah. Well, flamingo was going to get in there anyway. But yeah, they have all of these different colors, and it's got a cute little strap, and you can strap this thing on, which I never did, but it's very, very cute, and it's wonderful for kids.
Great. Okay. So Charles, what are you doing for round 3? A kid pick or an adult pick or tech pick?
Adult. I will pick the MyQ Smart Garage Door Opener from Chamberlain. So continuing on the theme of automating the home, I have an automatic car starter, but I don't want to use that and I live in Minnesota where it's pretty cold a lot of times. And you don't want to start the car in a closed garage for too long. And even though probably nothing would happen at this point in time how advanced cars have gotten. But this thing can be hooked to Alexa or Siri, and I can string a workflow together that uses the app to start my car, and then key this, and so when I'm walking out the door, I can say, hey, insert system name here, I'm leaving for the day, or key off whatever workflow I have to turn off all the lights, open the garage door, and then I'm all safe. Or if I forget to close it when I leave, when you go on vacation, you're like, hey, did I remember to close the garage door? Now I have a sensor on it. So
I have to admit, that's probably the first best reason I've heard to get a smart garage door opener. I mean, other than the fact that, like you said, it's nice to be able to check it in case you think you forgot it. But the idea of being able to start your car and then open the garage door to make sure you're not going to asphyxiate yourself is a pretty darn good. No, I mean it. I mean, in where you live, that probably is a really extra good idea.
Yeah, I probably. I mean, there are much more interesting and fun ways to kill brain cells if that's what you're after. So,
thank you for that perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll keep that in mind.
Gee, didn't see that one coming. Okay, moving on. So, okay, I think I'm going to go with low-hanging fruit again. Oh, no, wait, I can't do that one. Yeah, I'm going to suggest that you assist your loved one in ditching their cable company from the standpoint of renting their router and buy them a nice Wi-Fi router. Because this is just one way that the cable companies, they're not completely ripping you off, but they are, that's just one more bill you don't have to pay. And these routers can pay for themselves in sometimes a year, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on what you're being charged. But you will get, most likely you'll get at least a router as good as your cable company is currently giving you, maybe even a little better. And you can kind of control some of the upgrade cycle. The downside, of course, is that if something goes wrong, you're not going to really be able to call them and have them help you diagnose things other than just making sure that the connectivity is getting to your home. Other than that, they're not going to touch it. But on the other hand, most Wi-Fi routers, once you get them up and running, excuse me, I keep saying Wi-Fi router, cable modem is what I'm talking about. Once you get them up and running, they're pretty bulletproof. I mean, you might have to restart them occasionally, but that's about it. I'm not going to try to recommend one because I would definitely suggest that you, wherever you are, check with your local big box like Best Buy or something like that to make sure that something is compatible, or visit the Wirecutter. I believe they're recommending right now one of the Netgears. So make sure that you are getting one that is compatible with your system, and that you're buying it from someplace you can return it to should the need arise. But this is just a great way to save a little bit of money, and then maybe spend it on those Apple Music or Audible subscriptions that I mentioned, as opposed to just helping build the cable companies up. So not a specific recommendation about a product, just a concept. But a lot of people are just so hesitant to do it. And I helped my sister do it, and it was a piece of cake, and she's had in fact, I think she has better performance now than she did with what the cable company gave her. So, okay, so that takes us, I'm sorry, Charles.
I love it.
Good.
By the way, I just randomly called my cable company and said I wanted to pay you less money, and they were like, cool. So you could also just call your friends' cable companies and tell them that that'd be a great Christmas present.
Yeah. Did you have to accept less services, or did you just say, I want to?
I just said, I'm thinking about cutting the cord. And
oh, yeah, that'll do it. That does it every time. They'll chop it right in half.
Yep. That's pretty much right on the money. 1.5.
So you know what? I'm going to throw a tip in, an extra tip in there, since you brought that up. When you do that, because at least in my experience, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, we'll put you on that plan for a year or maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to your calendar app as soon as you hang up the phone and set a reminder about a month ahead of that occurrence, and then call them back later, because otherwise they hope that you'll forget, and then they'll just ramp your bill up and you pay it automatically and kind of forget about it. So set yourself a reminder that you have to go back and renegotiate your contract. But yeah, you can save a lot of money that way.
Yeah. Or you can cut the cord. You can do that.
That's true.
Although I get my internet through, Comcast, so you have to have that. But I ditched the TV and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's sort of the fallacy. I had a phone line for a while through it, just because they had one of those special deals, and boy, actually I disconnected it because
I did too.
Yeah,
I went for the special. The special is so expensive, I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah. And I think I'm convinced that one of the reasons they sell you the phone is so that they have your number, so that then they can sell that to telemarketers. Now, I don't know that for a fact, so no emails, Comcast.
Maybe.
But, it seemed like that number got an awful lot of calls from telemarketers awfully quickly.
Wow.
So just be warned.
I hadn't actually thought of that. I just looked at the amount of money that they were asking for all of these services that I didn't really want or need, and that it was all boxed into some special offer that you were getting all of these things allegedly so much cheaper. And I said, you know what? I can't afford all of this, and I don't even want it. So ditch the TV, ditch the telephone, give me my high-speed internet, and let's call it a day.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So now if I want to watch TV, I have my Netflix and Amazon Prime, and I have to suffice with that. And maybe YouTube.
Well, they do a great job of making you feel like you might be missing something if you don't subscribe to these 500 channels. And it's
although one day I would like to hear somebody on the program come up with one of those indoor antennas for people who aren't getting any TV reception where they are. If you don't live in an urban area, you're more than 50 miles away from the nearest tower, the nearest broadcast tower. You are really, you turn on the TV and it's like dead air. And it would be nice. I am going to start experimenting with that, because every once in a while, I just want to turn on the TV and look at something. Even if I don't want to watch it, then I want to change the channel and see if there's something else I don't want to watch, and then turn it off, as opposed to just having nothing there.
I do miss the days of just flipping through channels, looking for something, or going to Blockbuster and looking at videos for half an hour to pick what I'm going to watch for 90 minutes.
Well, you did very well. It took me at least twice that long to pick something from Blockbuster or LaVideo or wherever we went. So it took a long time. You have to think. When you turn on the TV, you don't think. It's there. You may not like it, but it is there.
Especially when the streaming services do such a good job of giving you 20 episodes at the same time of something.
Oh, yeah.
Your next 4 weeks are shot, and then you miss a deadline for an article or a book. Not that I've ever done that. And then you go to work 3 days later smelling really bad. Not that I've done that.
No, we're not going there. Okay. This came off the tracks real quick.
Went off the rails, Chuck.
Yeah, and it was my pick that did it. That's the disturbing thing.
Your fault. We can all just point to you.
Troublemaker.
Thank you. Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by Smile, the makers of world-class software at smilesoftware.com. And there's no more world-class software than TextExpander. With TextExpander, a few characters become words, another few characters become sentences, and a few other characters turn into paragraphs. When you create a TextExpander snippet, you select the text that you will remember and then have it expand into whatever you want. It might be something as simple as a word that you frequently mistype, or as complex as a full paragraph of details on your latest project. TextExpander is available anywhere on your Mac. No matter what application you're using, you get the power of TextExpander to help make you productive. And because it's TextExpander, your snippets aren't tied to a particular application. So whether it's email, your blogging platform, your word processor, or whatever, TextExpander is there, ready to go. One of the biggest challenges with any productivity software is remembering to use it. TextExpander itself helps with that by finding frequently typed words and phrases and suggests that you create snippets for them. A TextExpander snippet can be just about anything: text, code, HTML, formatted, unformatted, you name it, and odds are that TextExpander can handle it and make it available to you anywhere you want. If you go right now to smilesoftware.com, you can try TextExpander for free. See how powerful it is. See how easy to use it is. Then get TextExpander straight from Smile at smilesoftware.com and watch your productivity grow. TextExpander is just one of the world-class software tools from Smile. Find out about all of them at smilesoftware.com. Thanks to Smile for being the longest-running sponsor of MacVoices. All right, Jackie, we're into round 4, the last round. So give us your biggest and your best.
Well, I don't know if this is going to be my biggest or best. I think I started off with my biggest and best, but actually this thing is extremely cute. And, Charles probably knows this already. This is a Creative Halo Bluetooth speaker. And it's got a few little tricks, So you can adjust the colors, and it will pulsate to your music when it feels like it.
As will the cat.
And it's the visuals. That's the thing that got me about it. You can cycle through the visuals. There's an app that you can use that gives you even more. And I just like it. It's very cute. The sound is okay. I'm not going to say if you're an audiophile, you're going to love this thing and it's giving you the best sound you ever heard, because that probably isn't true. But it gives you plenty of, nice deep bass, and it doesn't give you too much static unless you turn it up really, really loud. And it's just something that if you really want to veg out with your music, you can actually have something beautiful to look at.
Very nice. Very nice. It strikes me as the kind of thing that
that's another kid present.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was going for.
Love that.
Yeah, the kids would like. Yeah, good. And you said it's from Creative?
Yes.
Good.
It's called Halo, HALO.
Great.
And it's got an app that you can use with it, and you can program it to do all kinds of more things than you can just use the unit for. It's got I do not know why it has this strap, but it's got this handy dandy strap here, because why not? And it actually also has a tripod mount, if you can take it. It's kind of an amazing little hybrid sort of thing that I've been, enjoying a lot. So.
You could use the tripod mount to mount it on a GoPro mount for your bike. And then you could queue up Dancing Queen and roll around. Yeah, I got this whole thing worked out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, great. I'm going to go run right out and do that.
Jackie, do you find the way that Charles's head works disturbing?
I don't know that I would call it disturbing. Let's just say unusual and giving a different perspective on things.
I'll accept that. Charles, Dancing Queen? Where did that come from?
Yeah, Dancing Queen. That,
There were strobing lights.
Okay. I hear you.
Okay.
I got it. I got it.
I missed.
I wouldn't pick SOS, but that's okay.
Strobing lights make me think of Dazzler from the X-Men, which makes me think of Dancing Queen. It's a whole thread every time.
Okay.
I have no
Yeah.
choice. It's
have to be in Charles's brain to understand that part of it.
Right.
But see, now that you explained it totally makes sense.
So, my turn.
Yeah, we're going to come back and have a show just with Charles where we're just going to throw random words at him and see what comes back.
As long as it's automated.
As long as it's automated.
Right.
All right, Charles, you're looking for your turn. What's your fourth?
All right. So this is the 5th edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons foil edition of the Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Manual, and Player's Handbook, or Monster's Manual and Player's Handbook. So for all you D&D nerds out there, and that seems to go hand in hand with computer nerds. If you haven't gotten into 5th edition and you're still playing 1st edition Dungeons and Dragons, here we go. And my buddy James, to bring it into the tech world, wrote a dice rolling app, so you don't even need to buy $4 dice anymore. You can buy his app instead for free.
Very nice. Are you a big D&D player?
I play about once a month. I took about a decade or two off. College will do that to you. It ruins you for a little while. But then when I didn't feel the need to be cool anymore, I got back into it.
Okay. Did your daughter play?
My daughter and I played Basic. I still have the original box set from when I first started playing many, many decades ago. And we play those rules because they're basic and not advanced. Although 5th edition has these cards, like the spells you cast and weapons that you get, or you get cards for them. And she loves the cards because it's easier to keep track of those rather than keep all that stuff in your head.
Okay, good.
So your turn, Chuck.
Yes, you're bringing up a little geek of your very own. Good.
She's going to rebel against you. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that. I couldn't resist.
Charles, now it's your turn. Do you find the way that Jackie's head works disturbing?
As long as my child doesn't become a Luddite, no.
Okay. All right.
That will never happen, Charles.
All right. So I'm going to try to improve your holiday video. In fact, I'm going to try to improve your video across the board because you have great cameras and great video cameras in your iPhones and your iPads. You've already got them sitting there. So why not get a little better with them? I guess now it's been a little more than a few weeks ago, I had Wally Cherwinski on the show talking about his new Apple book, Video to Go. And I'm going to recommend that you get this, and if you can, get it a little bit before the holiday and brush up on some of Wally's techniques. This is one of those books that I find not only instructional but inspiring, because he doesn't get too much into the tech stuff. It's more about how to shoot the shots, how to frame the shots, how to think about creating your video, with some great examples. Wally's, if you don't know Wally, he's quite the world traveler. He's got some phenomenal videos and photos in the book, which are entertaining at the very least. But he talks about how he constructs them and how what he shot to get to the point of putting these fantastic videos together. And I'm not going to say it's not as hard as it looks, but it's kind of not as hard as it looks if you just think a little bit and have a little bit of a plan with what maybe you'd like to see come out the other side. He'll give you basically shot lists of things and help you weave them together into something that probably is better than you're going to be able to do yourself. So Video to Go, it's an Apple book. Used to It used to be an iBook. Now I think they just refer to them as Apple Books. And it's a very easy read, but that takes away not at all from the instruction value. And once again, I mentioned the inspiration because Wally has a way of communicating these things that makes you want to go and walk around your house and shoot the bushes when it's snowing, and then turn it into a really cool video. So, video to go from Wally Cherwinski. You cannot go wrong with this if you're at all interested in doing better video projects.
Sweet.
Great.
Yeah, if it really is that good. Guys, thank you. That was a lot of fun. Some of those picks I did not expect, but that's nothing unusual with this group. So I want to make sure that folks know where they can find you when you're not here, and make sure they know about all your projects. Jackie, I know you're writing for a number of different outlets. Can you give us a quick list?
Okay, I can give you a couple. Tom's Guide, Business News Daily, Macworld, of course, and Cult of Mac.
Great. And are you on social media at this point?
Yes, but kind of barely. I'm not doing a whole lot of. I'm not that active anymore on Facebook. I've kind of cooled down on it, and I've never been a big Twitter person. So you can find me on Twitter. JACKIDOVE. Most of it is non-tech, though. I got made fun of once by somebody who said, "Oh, yeah, you're the one who posts your stories all the time." And I kind of hung my head in shame and said, "Well, maybe I shouldn't be posting my stories on Twitter anyway." So I kind of stopped posting my stories on Twitter for a while, and then on Facebook, I haven't had all that much of a presence over the last year or so.
Well, I'm going to make a request right now. Start posting your stories because I can't follow you with all those places, and I want to read what you write. So,
okay. Well,
yes.
Chuck, your wish is granted. I think actually I was considering it, and it's just I got out of the habit. How some things just become a habit. And I just sort of got out of the habit of posting my stories, but maybe I will start doing it again. In fact, I will start doing it again.
Yeah. And anybody that makes fun of you, send them to me because I don't do that.
I will.
That's you.
I will do that.
That's you. I mean, why wouldn't you promote what they're promoting? Whatever it is they're promoting, even if it's their worthless little lives. So
brutal.
Well, I guess I've been involved more in the election, the midterm elections, and have been concentrating more on that over the last several months. And and my publications actually do post my stories. I just have not sort of picked up on it myself lately. So, but I should. You're right. I should get back into it. I should be publishing, putting my own links up there as well. That's that's a defensible position.
Yeah, time to take Twitter back.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
It starts right here, right now. Yeah.
Right now. Absolutely.
Jackie, thanks so much for being here, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you, Chuck. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's always fun. Charles, I know you have just one or two things that you're doing in between writing scripts.
So I have two podcasts, the Jamf After Dark podcast, that's JAMF After Dark, and the Mac Admins podcast. And crypted.com is my personal website, KRYPTED.com. And I guess you could go to Amazon and search for my name. There's maybe 20 books up there. And I also write for a few places, Huffington Post, Inc. magazine, the Jamf blog. That's the more corporate professional stuff. And then my own personal blog. So
And are you same thing? Are you on social media?
Yeah, Twitter, CEDGE, CEDGE 318. Cryptid is taken by someone else who I may make disappear at some point soon. That's about it.
Okay.
I'm kidding about that.
Brutal. Wow. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, man.
What do you want for Christmas? I want my name on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. We have way too much fun when you two show up. So we will do it again.
Thanks for having us, Chuck.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Just a quick reminder again to find all the links to all this crazy stuff. Check our show notes, check the Mac Voices blog posting, and check our Flipboard magazine, the Gift Guide Flipboard magazine. Hey, as well as the regular Mac Voices magazine on Flipboard. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Mac Voices Facebook group, and get more out of your Apple Tech with Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep Mac Voices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by Cashfly at cashfly.com.
Sweet. Thanks, Chuck.
You guys are crazy. Oh,
to be clear, that was not a terroristic threat. I should have probably mentioned that.
I'll put a subtitle on that, Charles. Charles does not intend. Oh.